Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss thalassemias. Thalassemias are hereditary disorders in which there is reduced synthesis of one or more of the globin polypeptide chains. Those are quantitative abnormalities of polypeptide globin chain synthesis. They are first described in people of Mediterranean countries, that is North Africa and Southern Europe, from where it derives its name Mediterranean anemia. The word thalassa in Greek means the sea, since the condition was found commonly in regions surrounding the Mediterranean Sea. It also occurs in the Middle East, Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asia. In India it is very common in Punjabis and Gujaratis, and in Gujarat it is seen in Kutchi, Lohana and Sindhi communities. Genetics and classification. Two beta globin genes located one each on 2 chromosome 11, and there are two copies of the hemoglobin alpha gene with each encode an alpha chain, and both genes are located on chromosome 16. Normal adult hemoglobin, that is HbA, is made up of 2 alpha chains and 2 beta chains. This is a diagram showing a gene for beta globin chain located on chromosome 11 and genes for alpha globin chain located on chromosome 6, which are in pairs. So depending upon whether the genetic defect or deletion lies in transmission of alpha or beta globin chain genes, thalassemias are classified into alpha and beta thalassemias. Thus, patients with alpha thalassemias have structurally normal alpha globin chains, but the production is impaired. Similarly, in beta thalassemia, beta globin chains are structurally normal, but their production is decreased. This is in contrast to sickle cell anemia, where there is production of defective hemoglobin. There is qualitative abnormality, where at the 6th position of beta globin chain, glutamic acid is replaced by valine. Here, structurally, the alpha chains and beta chains are normal, but quantitatively they are reduced. The production is decreased. They may occur as heterozygous or homozygous state. When they are in heterozygous state, they are called as alpha and beta thalassemia minor or trait, and when they are as homozygous state, they are termed as alpha and beta thalassemia major. The former, that is heterozygous form, is generally asymptomatic, while the homozygous form is a severe congenital hemolytic anemia. Now pathophysiology. First, alpha thalassemia. In alpha thalassemia major, that is homozygous state, the obvious cause is the inability to synthesize adult hemoglobin, while in trait, that is heterozygous state, there is reduced production of normal adult hemoglobin. Pathophysiology of beta thalassemia. In beta thalassemia major, again homozygous form, the most important cause of anemia is premature red cell destruction, which is brought about by erythrocyte membrane damage, which is caused by the precipitated alpha globin chain. So in the absence of beta globin chain, the remaining alpha globin chains will undergo precipitation, and that precipitations will do erythrocyte membrane damage, and these damaged RBCs are prematurely destructed within reticuloendothelial system. A deficiency of beta globin chain in beta thalassemia lead to large excess of alpha chain, as I already told you, within the developing red cell. Part of these excessive alpha chains are removed by pairing with gamma globin chains as hemoglobin F. So in the absence of beta chain, these alpha chain will be paired with gamma globin chains, and they will form fetal hemoglobin or HbF. Still there is unaccompanied alpha chains are there, which are precipitated rapidly within the red cell as Heinz body, and the precipitated alpha chains cause red cell membrane damage. So this is a picture diagram. Here you can see in alpha thalassemia there will be excess beta chain, and in beta thalassemia there is excess alpha chain, and they will form inclusion bodies and Heinz bodies. Heinz bodies are denatured hemoglobin. You can also see Howell-Jolly bodies, which are DNA inclusion body in the peripheral smear of thalassemia. These are the various bodies which you can see in the thalassemia. Howell-Jolly body, which is DNA inclusion body, Heinz body, which is denatured hemoglobin. You can see basophilic stippling also in the peripheral smear. Siderocytes are usually seen in the bone marrow aspiration. So during during the passage through the splenic sinusoid, these damaged red cells are further damaged and develop pitting due to removal of the precipitated aggregate. So here you can see there is damaged hemoglobin, and while passing through the spleen, these portion will be removed by pitting. Thus, such red cells are irreparably damaged and are phagocytosed by the RE system of the spleen and the liver, causing anemia, hepatosplenomegaly, and excess of tissue iron stores. Beta thalassemia minor, on the other hand, have very mild ineffective erythropoiesis, hemolysis, and shortening of red cell lifespan. Now, what is ineffective erythropoiesis? The erythropoiesis is usually normal or increased in such condition, but the generated RBCs undergo premature destruction because of some damage to those RBCs. That is called ineffective erythropoiesis, where generation of the RBC is normal at normal rate, but the RBCs undergo premature destruction. That is called ineffective erythropoiesis. So this is a picture diagram. Here you can see that a normal erythroblast in the bone marrow, which has adult hemoglobin, which is formed by 2 alpha globin chains and 2 beta globin chains. But in case of beta thalassemia, there is aggregation of alpha globin chain, and you can see when these RBCs are released into the peripheral smear, those contains aggregates of alpha globin chains, and they will cause damage to red cell membrane and undergo premature destruction within spleen or liver, causing anemia. Now, alpha thalassemia in detail. In alpha thalassemia, there is defective synthesis of alpha globin chain, resulting in decreased production of hemoglobins that contain alpha chain. So all the hemoglobins which contain alpha chain will be reduced, like adult hemoglobin, which contains alpha 2 beta 2, hemoglobin A2, which contains alpha 2 delta 2, and hemoglobin F or fetal hemoglobin, which contains alpha 2 and gamma 2. All these hemoglobins are reduced. Most commonly, these thalassemias are due to deletion of one or more of the alpha chain genes located on short arm of chromosome 16. As we have already seen, there are pair of alpha globin gene chain. Since there is a pair of alpha chain genes, the clinical manifestation of alpha thalassemia depend upon the number of genes deleted. Accordingly, alpha thalassemias are classified into 4 types. All 4 genes deleted, it is called HB Barts hydrops fetalis. 3 out of 4 gene deleted, it is called HBH disease. 2 out of 4 genes deleted, alpha thalassemia trait, and single gene deletion, that is also called as alpha thalassemia trait, and it will behave as a carrier. So this is a table form of alpha thalassemia classification. The first form is hydrops fetalis. The hemoglobin content in these patients are usually between 3 to 10 gram per deciliter. HB electrophoresis will reveal HB Barts in the So HB electrophoresis of hydrops fetalis will show HB Barts predominantly. The genotype is deletion of all 4 alpha gene, and clinically this condition is fatal in utero or in early infancy. HBH disease hemoglobin is 2 to 12 gram per deciliter. Electrophoresis will reveal up to 10% of fetal hemoglobin and 2 to 4% of HBH. There is deletion of 3 alpha genes, and clinically it will present as hemolytic anemia. In alpha thalassemia trait, hemoglobin ranges from 10 to 14 gram per deciliter. Electrophoresis is almost normal. In genotype, there is deletion of 2 alpha genes, and clinically there is microcytic hypochromic blood picture, but there is no anemia. Now coming in detail of HB Barts hydrops fetalis. In this condition, there is deletion of all 4 alpha chain genes, that is homozygous state. It is the most severe form of alpha thalassemia, and it is called as HB Barts hydrops fetalis. HB Barts is a gamma globin chain tetramer. In absence of alpha chain, there will be aggregation of gamma chains, because in fetus or in early infancy, there is formation of fetal hemoglobin only. Adult hemoglobin will take over completely after 1 year of age. So in this age of infancy or early or late fetal life, there is hemoglobin F. So in the absence of, which is made up of alpha chain and gamma chain. So in absence of alpha chain, there will be precipitated gamma chains. So there will be a formation of gamma globin chain tetramer, and this has high oxygen affinity, which leading to severe tissue hypoxia, and that's why it is clinically incompatible with life. Patient will present with severe anemia. On peripheral smear, there is marked anisopoikilocytosis, hypochromia, microcytosis, polychromasia, basophilic stippling, numerous normoblasts and target cells. Reticulocyte count is high. Serum bilirubin level is elevated because here there is hemolysis, there is premature destruction of RBCs. So RBC contains hemoglobin, hemoglobin is heme plus globin, and from heme bilirubin is generated. So serum bilirubin level is elevated. Hemoglobin electrophoresis will show predominantly HB bars. This is peripheral smear picture of HB bars hydrops fetalis. Here you can see numerous normoblasts. There is presence of target cell, marked anisopoikilocytosis, there is microcytosis, hypochromia, etc. Now coming to HBH disease. In this disease, there is deletion of 3 alpha chain genes produces HBH, which is a beta globin chain tetramer. HBH is precipitated as Heinz bodies within the affected red cells. Clinical features are intermediate between those of beta thalassemia minor and major, which we'll discuss later. And the disease presents severely during pregnancy or infections. HBH inclusions as Heinz bodies can be demonstrated in mature red cell with brilliant crescile blue stain, and this is a supravital stain. Hemoglobin electrophoresis will show 2 to 4% of HBH, and remainder consists of adult hemoglobin, hemoglobin A2 and fetal hemoglobin. So this is a picture, the RBCs which are encircled with green color showing Heinz bodies. This is supravital stain. Here you can see reticulocytes as well as HBH bodies, Heinz bodies, etc. These bodies are best demonstrated by supravital stain, and that is brilliant crescile blue stain. Now coming to alpha thalassemia trait. In this condition, there is deletion of 2 alpha gene from a single chromosome or deletion of 1 alpha globin gene from each of the 2 chromosomes. So deletion of a single gene which causes a barely detectable reduction in alpha globin chain synthesis, and it will behave as silent carrier state. So that is all about alpha thalassemia. Now coming to beta thalassemias. The molecular pathogenesis of beta thalassemia is more complex than that of alpha thalassemias. Most of beta thalassemias arise from different types of mutations of beta globin gene resulting from single base changes. The symbol of beta 0 is used to indicate the complete absence of beta globin chain synthesis, while beta plus denotes partial synthesis of beta globin chain. So which are the defects you will encounter during beta thalassemia? That is defect in transcription or translation or mRNA splicing defect. Now homozygous form of beta thalassemia, also known as beta thalassemia major, then there are 2 types: beta 0 thalassemia major where there is complete absence, and beta plus thalassemia major where there is suppression of beta globin chain. So beta thalassemia major in detail, it is also termed Mediterranean or Cooley's anemia, and it is the most common form of congenital hemolytic anemia. There is either complete absence of beta chain synthesis, that is beta 0 as I have already told you, or only small amount of beta chains are formed, that is called beta plus thalassemia major. Now this is a picture diagram. Here you can see in normal erythrocyte there is adult hemoglobin or HbA, which consists of 2 alpha chain and 2 beta chain, and that is the normal erythroblast, and normal red cells will be released into peripheral blood. And in case of beta thalassemia, there is reduced beta globin synthesis with relative excess of alpha globin. So in the normoblast, there is insoluble alpha globin aggregates. There is formation of hemoglobin A, or normal hemoglobin or adult hemoglobin, but these hemoglobins are considerably reduced in size. So these abnormal erythroblasts which are generated in the bone marrow, and they are destructed because they are abnormal. So there will be an ineffective erythropoiesis. Most erythroblasts will die in the bone marrow. So when erythroblasts die in the bone marrow, there will be a release of heme plus globin. Heme contains iron, So there will be a increased iron absorption which will be deposited in the heart and liver, and that can cause systemic iron overload or secondary hemochromatosis. Now because of these ineffective erythropoiesis, there is anemia, and these anemia sometimes need blood transfusion. So this blood transfusion may again cause systemic iron overload, and this anemia can cause tissue hypoxia. Under the tissue hypoxia, there is release of erythropoietin, and erythropoietin will cause bone marrow expansion, because under the influence of erythropoietin, erythropoiesis occurs within the bone marrow. So there is marrow expansion which causes skeletal deformity, which we will see later. And then the few abnormal red cells will be released in the peripheral blood, and they will have alpha globin aggregate as well as normal adult hemoglobin. These cells are hypochromic, and these cells may undergo extravascular hemolysis. There is destruction of aggregate containing red cells in spleen, that will again cause anemia. So that is all about beta thalassemia pathophysiology. Now this is the characteristic thalassemic phases of a patient of beta thalassemia major. Here you can see the X-ray of skull where there is expansion of the skull bone, that is called as hair on and appearance also. Now clinical features of beta thalassemia, first and foremost is anemia. There is marked hepatosplenomegaly, that is because of excessive red cell destruction within these organs. There is extramedullary hematopoiesis and iron overload. There is expansion of bones occur due to marked erythroid hyperplasia, leading to thalassemic phases and malocclusion of the jaw. There is iron overload due to repeated blood transfusion, as I have already told you. It causes damage to the endocrine organs, resulting in slow rate of growth and development, and there is delayed puberty. There will be development of diabetes mellitus and damage to the liver and heart. So again, this is a picture diagram which shows effect of beta thalassemia major on various system. You can see there is stunted growth because of there is effect on pituitary gland. There is expanded bones and malocclusion of the jaw. There is splenomegaly. The defect in pancreas cause diabetes mellitus. In liver you will see hemosiderosis, and sometimes you can see cardiac siderosis also. Now laboratory findings of beta thalassemia. Here you will encounter with the severe anemia. There is high reticulocyte count. There is raised serum bilirubin value. The RBC indices like MCV, MCH and MCHC are significantly reduced. Blood film will show severe anisopoikilocytosis. Here you can see a normoblast and then teardrop cells, target cells, and severe hypochromia. So these are the various cells which you can see in the blood film of beta thalassemia major patients. The red cells are poikilocytic. You will see elliptocytes, schistocytes which are fragmented RBCs. You can see target cells, teardrop cells, spherocytes and hypochromia. This is a picture of Howell-Jolly bodies. You can see the presence of dark purple colored bodies in the red blood cells in peripheral smear. This is again a supravital stain, brilliant crescile blue stain. Here you can see various bodies like Heinz bodies and as well as reticulocytes. Then hemoglobin electrophoresis. The electrophoresis will reveal increased amount of fetal hemoglobin, increased amount of hemoglobin A2 and almost complete absence or presence of variable amount of adult hemoglobin. Here you can do bone marrow aspirate examination also. There will be a normoblastic erythroid hyperplasia. Iron staining demonstrates siderotic granules in the cytoplasm of normoblast because of iron overload. Now coming to beta thalassemia intermedia. It has intermediate degree of severity and genetically it is a heterozygous form. Now beta thalassemia minor, it is also called as heterozygous form or trait form. It is a mild asymptomatic condition. Few uncommon globin chain combination resulting in beta thalassemia trait are delta beta thalassemia minor, where there is total absence of both beta and delta chain synthesis, and it is characterized by elevated fetal hemoglobin level. But unlike beta thalassemia minor, there is normal or reduced hemoglobin A2 level. Then HB Lepore syndrome. It is non-homologous fusion of beta and delta genes forming an abnormal hemoglobin called HB Lepore. It is named after a family called Lepore. There is total absence of normal beta chain synthesis. So this is a table form of beta thalassemia conditions. First is beta thalassemia major, where hemoglobin is usually less than 5 gram per deciliter. Electrophoresis reveal fetal hemoglobin from 50 to 98%, and adult hemoglobin may range from 0 to 50%. And clinically, these conditions have severe congenital hemolytic anemia and requires frequent blood transfusions. Beta thalassemia intermedia, the patient will have hemoglobin ranges from 5 to 10 gram per deciliter. Electrophoresis is variable, and the patient will have severe anemia and they usually don't require blood transfusion. In beta thalassemia minor, hemoglobin is 10 to 12 gram per deciliter. Electrophoresis will reveal raised HbA2, that is 4 to 9%, and hemoglobin F is 1 to 5%, and they are usually asymptomatic. Now, the most frequently asked question during practical exams and theory exams is, how will you differentiate iron deficiency anemia from beta thalassemia minor or trait, because they are very similar in their clinical presentation. So there are several tests which differentiate iron deficiency anemia from beta thalassemia minor. So first is MCV upon RBC index. In iron deficiency anemia, it is more than 13, while in beta thalassemia trait it is less than 13. RDW, that is red cell width distribution. Red cell distribution width, which is increased in iron deficiency, because in iron deficiency there is poikilocytosis, variably sized RBCs are seen, while in case of beta thalassemia minor or trait, they are usually microcytic hypochromic. In beta thalassemia major, there is severe anisopoikilocytosis, but in beta thalassemia minor, they are usually hypochromic microcytic. So red cell distribution width is increased in iron deficiency. It is normal in beta thalassemia minor. Iron or total iron binding capacity is decreased in iron deficiency. It is normal in beta thalassemia. Ferritin is decreased in iron deficiency, normal in minor. Then hemoglobin A2, which is decreased in iron deficiency, and it is increased in thalassemia minor. That is the most important investigation, hemoglobin A2. Fetal hemoglobin is normal in iron deficiency and it is increased in thalassemia minor. RBC morphology, you can see pencil forms specifically in the iron deficiency, while in thalassemia minor you can see fine basophilic stippling or target cells. So this is a peripheral smear picture of thalassemia and iron deficiency anemia. Here you can see in thalassemia RBC count is increased, while iron deficiency anemia RBC count is decreased. In thalassemia, the cells are usually microcytic hypochromic and uniform in size, while in iron deficiency anemia there is poikilocytosis. That's why red cell distribution width is increased in iron deficiency anemia. So that is all about thalassemias. Thank you.